Tonight, lawmakers and federal employees are sounding off after a controversial announcement from the Trump administration.
The planned pay raise that was supposed to take effect next year isn't happening. 13 News Now reporter Jacqueline Lee spoke to a man who was counting on that raise.
Scrolling through photos of his 3-year-old daughter, Mackenzie.
Yes, she is.
And providing for his family.
How am I gonna, afford the next toy? When she goes to Walmart, she's always like, can we go to the doll section?
Or what it's all about for Matthew Latham.
I need to be a little bit ahead of the economy in order to do things like that, because when you're trying to just make ends meet, just paying bills, it's, it's kind of difficult.
Latham monitors for radiation exposure on Navy nuclear vessels at Norfolk Naval Shipyard. As a federal worker, he was looking forward to finally getting a 2% pay bump to make up for the rising cost of living.
When you're making the same every year and you're seeing costs go up a little bit more and more, you just get a little bit more and more behind.
But then President Trump made this announcement. The pay raise will be set at 0, citing the federal government can't afford it. The president then clarified this wouldn't hurt the country's ability to attract and retain workers.
I would disagree with that wholeheartedly, because when we send out folks to Detroit and other places that have a lot of trained industrial workers, we can't compete with the private sector.
Senator Tim Kaine and lawmakers from both sides of the aisle also disagree with the president.
And these are like the nurses at the Wounded Warrior hospitals or at the Naval Hospital here who are taking care of, the troops that we have, and they're not going to get a pay raise. I mean, come on.
Even Kaine's opponent for his Senate seat, Corey Stewart, who rarely breaks with Trump, said federal workers need and deserve a pay raise. Workers like Latham who said they're being left out in the cold.
It's tough being in this spot where you always have to make choices. You're always trying to get ahead, but you're just never quite there.
In Norfolk, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.
Other lawmakers and candidates across party lines are weighing in on the Trump administration's announcement.
And all the ones we've heard from oppose the move. Democratic Senator Mark Warner called it another attack in Trump administration's war on federal employees. Congressman Bobby Scott said it's puzzling.
On the Republican side, Congressman Scott Taylor called it unnecessary and said his office is working to reverse it. And Senate candidate Corey Stewart told us he is almost never on the different side from President Trump, and in this case, he is.